So I'm excited to get started on this project. I got my wood picked out. Gonna make this entire chair out of cherry. First of all, big thank you to Bob Lee. Check out his YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the description. He donated all the wood for this project, so it didn't cost me anything. I got to go to Bob Lee's shop, take a look at his shop, and meet him and his wife, and I had a good time doing that. He lives about 5 hours from me, and it was well worth the drive. I got to meet him, and he also gave me this wood, so I can't thank you enough, Bob, and thank you very, very much. I already milled up one board that he gave me and cut it into some links and glue up 3 blanks to make my chair seat. And my last video showed you I made a template for this, so it should be fairly easy to trace this template and rough cut it out on the bandsaw. Now in this blank I got dowel rods, 3/8 dowel rods way up here, 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 and here. That was mostly just to align the blank, but I don't want to cut into that dowel rod on the chair. So I still got my marks here from where I'm going to get as close as possible without actually going into that dowel rod. So right there should be pretty good. So I'm just going to tape this down and then trace it out. This template worked out really, really well. I was kind of afraid that it wasn't going to work out that well, but after I traced it out and cut it out with a pair of scissors and refit the template onto the seat after the fact, it was just a perfect fit, and I couldn't have asked for an easier method to get the shape of this seat. Now I'm over at the bandsaw. I'm just cutting up against the line. Tried to leave the line as much as possible, and with this 1/2-inch blade that I had in the bandsaw, it cut through the wood really nicely, but it was pretty ragged after the fact, and it was kind of hard to get some of the curves with this wide bandsaw blade. 2 days before, I normally keep a 1/4-inch blade or a 1/8-inch blade in my bandsaw, but 2 days before I broke that particular blade, and I was left with the only blade I had in my shop, which was this 1/2-inch blade. It worked out fine. I just had to take my time and make a little extra more cuts. Here I'm just using the front part of the bandsaw blade to nibble up against the line where I couldn't bend the wood into the saw blade. So I spent a lot of time with the oscillating sander to redefine those edges, getting them up to the line, and also getting rid of the saw blade marks. Now, earlier in the video, I told you I was trying not to cut into those dowel rods that I glued up the pieces. Here you can find those dowel rods that I actually cut into. So I had to actually sand those away far enough back where you won't see those dowel rods in the final project. So I had to go past my lines a little bit to get rid of those. So this is 80 grit sandpaper, and off camera I used 120 grit sandpaper. Okay, I think I got the seat shaped the way I want it, at least the outline of it. It's looking pretty good. I got the edges all rounded off, and all the edges are pretty smooth. There's a couple high bumps here and there, but it's it's looking pretty good at this point. So I'm going to leave the seat as is for now. I'm waiting on a tool to cup out the seat of it, so it might be a couple more weeks until I actually get that. And I was looking at the old chair. There's not a whole lot of cupping to it, and I'm even considering doing that with a belt sander. Maybe take it outside one day and just go to town on it. But I think this tool that I'm going to order will make it a little easier. It's just a die grinder tool, and it'll just help cup that out a little bit more. In the original chair, it's more cupped out about right here, and it goes up like this. So there's not a whole lot of butt cupping, if they want to call it that, to do on this piece, and this piece will be ready to go. Of course, round over the edges, and then the seat will be ready to go. The rest of that blank, I was actually hoping to get the top two rails of that rocking chair out of, but after I cut it down, this is what I got left of that blank, and it's just not wide enough to do both pieces. And also the grain will be running in the wrong direction for those pieces, so I think I'm just going to have to scrap that idea. I was kind of hoping to get this sapwood to run kind of all the way up the chair, but it's not going to happen. But I can use this piece for a couple of the spindles, more specifically the 4 spindles at the top of the chair. So I will cut down a couple blanks so I can do those spindles out of this piece, so I'm not wasting that piece.